New PSE Mach 30 short axle to axle bow, an Eastern guy's delight. Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. MFJJ here at podiumarcher.com, looking at the new 2024 PSE Mach 30. This is their first short axle to axle carbon bow that I think in a little while. I incorporated a couple of new things on there. One, they do have a reverse assist roller guard, bolted in assembly, machined aluminum, and rollers instead of a sliding system, which is great. EC2 cam only from the factory. You can get the other two cams, the S2 and E2. If I remember right, on the Pro Shop, but not standard. So you ought to have that ordered in special. It does have the same shim adjustable system that you created last year, which makes it a lot easier to tune the bow the right way. You don't have to pull the axle assembly out and do all that stuff, which is great. Thank you for doing that. Front mount, pick mount, rear mount, integrated rest mount, and it's bolted in. I think you can actually bolt in a couple different choices there. I could be wrong, but I think you can. And for the first time, a two-piece quiver insert. It is triangle shaped and integrated right into the riser. Because of that, all those new features that they put on here, this bow is actually heavier than the 34 from last year. This bow is a 3.8 pound bow, 30 axle to axle, 6 1/8 inch brace height, and 340 feet a second. Let's take a look and see if we actually get those numbers. So number one here, end of the screw to end of the screw, spot on nut on 30, exact number. Looking for 6 1/8, shallow of the grip, and dead center 6 1/8, shallow of the grip. Perfect, exact numbers. How long is our riser on this 30-inch axle to axle bow? We're running about 25 3/4 to 26-inch riser. And let's see what our reflex looks like. I might have to reset this a little bit because there's no way to do it. Hang on. Try that. That get me there? Not quite. Sorry guys, give me a sec. Try that. There you go. Please don't fall. Measuring tape. Here we go. How much reflex we get? Looks about radio. Oh, shoot. Just my first video, don't mind me. Running a strong 3-inch of reflex. A lot of reflex on that bow, folks. All right, let's see what we got for weight. Well, that does have a little hole in it. So they're saying 3.8 pounds. This is the reps sample. He dropped them off yesterday, and I'm mailing them back to him today. And he put the rest on there. That comes on their standard. That comes on their standard, but figure that, and that, maybe 4/10 of a pound of things that you could unbolt to come up with the weight that they came up with. And 4.2 right there. So this bow probably authentically is 3.8 pounds if you took off that, and that. So it is that light. Let's see what kind of draw weight we got this set at. This is a 70-pound bow. So 70.4, just got to bump it down a tiny bit. Where is my wrench? Oh, there it is. Give it about a quarter. Not a quarter. $70.1. That focus? Cool. All right, let's see what our draw length looks like. All right, once again, we got our set here at, looks like 29 3/4 to 29 7/8. It's just shy of 30 inches, so they're giving you a good, honest, fair reading. And there is a little more adjustment in the draw stop to move it out to like 90%. So I imagine in 90%, this bow would probably hit right at 30 inches. So hey, thank you, PSE. You're not lying. All right, Mach 30, 70 pounds, 30 inches. First shots with a 350 grain arrow. It's still a smooth draw cycle all the way through. It's obviously a little harder when a cam's maxed out. You feel a little bit more of a dump. There's a little bit of vibration in it. It is very immediate. So you get this initial surge and boop, and then it really stops, but there's this tiny little hesitance in the back end of it. For a bow under 4 pounds, it still feels very incredible. And mind you, as your bow gets lighter, it's probably going to vibrate more. And for the most part, when you look at the vibration readings that we're getting, you're getting that direct result when you look at them. The bows that are lighter tend to vibrate more. But, I mean, the cycle's nice, but it definitely does have a hump dump in the back end there because this cam goes to 30 inches and it's at 30 inches. Sure sounds pretty quiet though. I mean, all in all, for how sub 4 pound bow, this thing sounds pretty nice. Feels pretty nice. But for, you know, $1,900, I would certainly hope it feels really good too. All right, let's see what we get for vibes. Okay, let's see what kind of vibes we get with these 350 grain arrows. I should point out that out of all the carbon bows made today, so Hoyt, Bowtech, Elite, and PSE. PSE is the only carbon fiber riser made in the US. All the other bows are made overseas, the risers. The rest of the stuff's made in the States, but the risers are made overseas. 1194. What the? I better redo that. I didn't get a reading on it. $11.84. We'll grab one of those and shoot one more just to be safe. Okay. Whew. A little jumpy on that let off there. 1102. So we're going to give you 11.5 because you got 2 high 11s and 1 low 11. All right, 350 grain arrow, 70 pounds, 30 inches, Mach 30 DS with the EC2 cam. Let's see what kind of speed we get. We are looking for 340 feet a second. .335. She fast. .333. .333. So we'll give you a 334 speed for that. All right, let's try some 450s and 550s. All right, 450 grain arrows, 70 pounds, 30 inches, Mach 30 DS EC2 cam. .297. .296. .297. Let's give it 297 there. All right. 550s. .271. .269. .270. So I'll give you a 270 there. All right. Whoop, 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 whoop. 270. Okay. Draw cycle, I'll give you 4 out of 5. It's still relatively smooth, but it does dump into the back end. Grip, I'm going to give you a 3. I'd really like to see that a little more edged and square. Wait a minute, hang on a second. I'll give you a 4, sorry, I was thinking of the previous. It's still a little more contoured. I'd like to see more of an edge still. It's rounded and it's square, so I like that, but it's still doesn't have the same bite in it as some of the other ones do, and I like to feel that response in my back. My hand. I'll give you a 4 on your back wall. It does feel relatively solid. I think it could be a little bit better. Balance, the bow does feel a little squirrely just because of how light it is and how small it is. So I can't give you like a super high mark on balance. I'll give you a 3 there. But that's just part of that type of design. Something that small is going to be a little harder to get a good balance feel out of. Speed, we're 334 out of 340. That's cooking for that size. I mean, it's a 6-inch brace height. Your rating and your published stuff is real accurate. I don't know if you get that bow a ton faster, so I'm going to go ahead and give you a 5 on the speed because you're within 6, which is great, and you're actually has a reasonable speed for the size of bow that you have. So I'll give you a 5 there. Weight was 3.8, which is great. That size of bow, that parameter, I'll give you at least I'm going to give you a 5 on that because it's hard. I don't know if you could make that bow much lighter. Personally, I'd like to see a bigger bow, but you know, this is what we're dealing with and what we're looking at. Your length was right on. I got to give you a 5 there. That's solid. Your brace was right on, 6 1/8. Well, actually, hang on. I'd like to see this bow a little longer personally. I'll give you a 4. I'd rather see that at like a 32 platform on that shorter riser because that shorter riser is just going to be hard to control. But it is a 30-inch bow, and they're trying to make something in a 30-inch range, so we'll give it a fair for that. 6 1/8 brace, and it measured out right at that. It was 6 1/8, so it's a little short on the brace. I'd like to see it a little longer, so I'm going to give you a 4. Actual draw length was 29 3/4, but if you move the peg, it would get to 30, so I'll give you a 5 on that. That's a good tangible number. 3 inches of reflex. You're getting a 1. That is way too much reflex. It's going to be torqueier to do that. I hate seeing reflex that much in today's world. Tunability, you have a very easy use shim system, which is nice. I do feel like you could do a little more in the tunability features, but I'll give you a 4 out of 5. You still have the yoke adjustability and the tunability. Be nice to see something orientating towards timing or whatnot to make that a little easier. Vibration, 11.5 for how light the bow is. I'm going to give you a 4. I can't give you a 5 because it's a double-digit number. But for how light that bow is, that's really low vibration. I was expecting a higher number out of that, to be honest. That was pretty damn good. $17.99 price point. You're in the realm. I think it might be a tiny bit steep. I mean, there's several bow manufacturers making a 30-inch axle-to-axle bow. Some are that price, some are less than that, some are a little more than that. I'll give you a 4 there. I don't think you're crazy or anything for asking $17.99 for that bow. If it was 16, I'd probably give you a 5 or $16.50, but it's still good. Features-wise, let's see what we got here. Cover a couple of things. Features, you got front mount pick, rear mount pick, integrated quiver into the carbon, which is a first for them. So it's definitely a benefit, front, rear, but there is no V-bar bracket adjustability. I'd give you at least a 3. Let me think about this for a minute. It's not easy to have all these inserts and things into a carbon bow and still not make the bow not get really heavy. I'll give you a 4, really, because it's not, what you did is not easy to do and still kept the weight down here. So I'll give you a 4 on that, because they really trimmed out as much mass as they could out of this thing. And you've got a fixed rigid roller guard and still coming in at 3.8. I mean, not an easy feat to do with a carbon bow. So I got to hand it to you. That's pretty darn good. All right, so let's see what we get here. 4, 8, 12, 16, 21, 26, 27 on the high score. 27. 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 23, 28 on the MFO. Would like to see a couple of changes there, and I'm never going to give a bow a good score that's got 3 inches of reflex. I'm just not. in my life, in my experience, things that have a lot of reflex in them tend to be torqueier, right? So that's not overall a good thing in consistency and accuracy. And I tend to be more consistency and accuracy driven in a product. But that being said, this is a very feature-filled, lightweight, very fast bow. This is pretty impressive. If you're looking in the carbon bows in a 30-inch axle to axle, you definitely want to look at this bow and compare this bow to the other ones that are in that realm, which there are, what, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4? 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, there's 4 now. Yeah, there's 4 carbon bows that are 30-inch axle to axle for you to compare. This is, I'm almost positive, the lightest one in there, which is pretty impressive. And if you're buying a carbon bow, the intent is probably to buy a light bow, so definitely check it out. We do not sell these on the website, as most every bow that I review are not sellable on the website other than the Target bows. But go down to your local pro shop and check it out. And if you need accessories or equipment for it that they don't have, I should have it. Hopefully that gives you a reason to buy from us. But at the end of the day, I appreciate you watching the videos. Keep following along. Subscribe, please. It means a lot and it helps us if you're subscribed to the channel. So I'd appreciate if you did that. Thanks a lot.